Hey guys, and welcome to the newest show on my channel. This is going to be called Sky Blue Sunday, and it's with me documenting the long road throughout the season is my good friend and fellow Sky Blue, Rob. Introduce yourself, dude.
I'm Rob, 21, been a Cov City fan all my life, and a season ticket holder since 2005.
So what we're going to do is basically document every game throughout the season, the games, the backroom stuff, everything that goes on every week. It's going to be a weekly show every Sunday, as you probably guessed. So yeah, also with us today we've actually got a special guest. He's my friend and fellow clan member in my gaming clan, Jay. Jay, tell us about yourself.
Hello, I'm Jay, and I support Middlesbrough, so I'm here to give some commentary toward the Middlesbrough Coventry game that was on yesterday.
Yeah, so what I thought we'd do is, as a first thing, we were against Middlesbrough. My mate Jay is a Middlesbrough fan, so I thought I'd go and get him involved with it. Sorry, somebody's just messaged me on MSN. I'll just exit that. But yeah, we thought we'd get him involved just because he's a Middlesbrough supporter, and it's a good thing just for the channel, just to give two sides of the story for the first episode. Whether we'll do it all of the time, I don't know, because I don't know, obviously, 23 people, in other words, a person for every team within the championship. We might get someone on for the Barnsley game. I'm hoping to do that, and if I can think of anyone else who's a fan in the championship of a championship team, then I'll get them in as well. So yeah, as you guys will have guessed, as Jay said, we played against Middlesbrough yesterday. Did alright. I won't give it away too yet, because I'm going to go through a match breakdown and see what and give you my ideas on what happened. But yeah, we'll talk about the Sky Blue action, so let's get down to it. So 3 o'clock yesterday, Man United. Oh
dear.
Coventry.
Oh dear.
That brings back memories. Coventry and Middlesbrough kicked off. Middlesbrough having been one of the top form sides of late, and having the chance to go top of the table, and without Marvin Emnes, who's bringing his shooting boots to every game nowadays, we had a task to keep him quiet, and my prediction for the game was a 2-0 loss. What were you guys saying?
Well, as you said,
in terms of the loss, in terms of the prediction, what would your guys' predictions have been?
as you said, Middlesbrough top form at the minute. You know, I was honestly, my head was saying, yeah, 2-0, 3-0 loss. My heart was saying possibly scrape a draw. 1-2.
And you, Jay?
Well, with Coventry's lack of goals, I was expecting 2 or 3-0 with a good clean sheet.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. The problem with our team is obviously we need a new striker. We need something to help us out, really, to try and combat us from going into relegation, which is a serious possibility at the minute. So, I'm going to do the starting teams for Cov and... actually, Rob, do you want to do the starting teams for Cov? And because you've got the script here, so you can get involved with it more. And Jay, if you do the starting teams for Middlesbrough.
Okie doke.
Okay, so...
Right, so Rob, if you go first.
Yep, Cov City lined up with Murphy in goal, Keogh and... sorry, I'm going to set this down. There we go. Keogh and Craney at centre-back, Hussey at left-back, Christie at right-back, Bell, Baker, Bigger-Romana, I was going to stumble with that one, and Klingon in midfield, and Djukovic and O'Donovan up front. On the bench was Chris Dunn, James McPake, Freddie Eastwood and Nathan Cameron.
You forgot about Connor Thomas as well.
Did I? Oh, hang
yeah,
on.
you did.
He's not written down on there.
No, neither is... was it
I was going to
Craney?
say, there's only 4 jobs. It doesn't make sense.
This is actually from the Coventry City official site, the team list, and
that explains it then, doesn't it? If it's on the Cov City website, it's bound to be wrong. Oh dear.
That's horrible. But yeah, anyway, go on then, Jay.
On the Middlesbrough lineup, we had Ekim in goal, the Hoyt and Bennett on the wings, Bates and McManus in centre defence. We had Williams and McMahon and Bailey and Robson in the midfield, and Archer and Emnes.
Okay, yeah, so both of us had a fairly strong team compared to the first teams that we take out. Obviously, Cov have had a few injuries, but it was still a good team. I mean, Cyrus Christie and Gail Bigger-Romana are the two people that... Sorry, I've just got Bananarama coming to my head after the whole thing. But yeah, it was a good team, and they've both been playing really well of late. So it all started off with Borough starting as the brighter team. They had a couple of chances, and Marvin Emnes showed why I thought he was going to be a danger man for us. on 20 minutes, he took the lead for Borough when Martin Craney was caught in possession from 25 yards out from goal. Tried to pass it to, I believe it was either Sammy Klingon or I can't remember who our other centre midfielder is.
That goal.
Yeah, it was. It was an absolute gift. It was horrible. But he passed it. One of Middlesbrough players got in the way, managed to hit the ball off Chris Hussey, and it came to Emnes. He then took a neat little shuffle to his left to create space between him and Richard Keogh. I nearly called him Cleo. Oh my god, this is going horrible. But yeah, he shuffled to the left and slotted it past Joe Murphy's left-hand side of his net into the right-hand side of the goal. It was a really good goal. He deserved it. I'd have to say from the start of the game, I thought that Middlesbrough were good merit for their lead. So what did you guys think of the goal?
Well, as I said a minute ago, I reckon it was a gift. It was a mistake from Craney, although they've been so good this season at the back, considering. As I say, it was just a mistake and a gift goal. But
yeah,
if you give Emnes the chance,
on that.
He's going to score, and he showed that he can do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing about Coventry City's back four is they have been really rock solid. Everyone turns around and says, yeah, you've only got 1 point from 5 games or 2 points from 5 games. But if you look at how many goals we've actually conceded, it's 1 a game. For a team that's supposed to be going down. Yeah, exactly. We've played against Birmingham, who were one of the favourites to go up. Who else have we played?
Leicester.
Obviously Middlesbrough, Leicester. All 3 big teams that are going to have a good chance of going up. Watford, yeah, okay, they're going to struggle maybe. But even so, we didn't concede against them. So it's not that we did bad, we just couldn't score.
And I like the fact we'll just gloss over the whole Crystal Palace thing. We'll just forget that.
Yeah, forget about Palace. Yeah, that was kind of awful.
Just about calmed down after that. Just about.
Yeah. So what did you think, Jay? What did you think of the goal?
Well, it's more than what we deserved in the first 20 minutes, because we had a fair few shots and your defence and keep on form, but the mistake you made, it was a gift, and we just took our chance when it came.
Yeah, I mean, the one person that I said at the start just now was Emnes was the danger man. We let him have too much space, and you can't do that. I mean, yeah, okay, Richard Keogh is a great defender, and he hasn't made that many mistakes, and he probably is the best player for us. But he did show Emnes a bit too much space, if you ask me. But everyone's entitled to their own mistake. I mean, it's not as if I'm having a go at the guy. Everybody makes mistakes. And as a defender, when you make a mistake, often it ends up with a ball in the back of the net.
Also, if you think about it, the defence now, with Craney and Keogh at the back, they're what, 24, 25, and they're like the veterans now in our team, considering our midfield's about, what, 17, 18. It's just, it goes to show the pressure that's on them.
I totally agree. I mean, the average age of our team must be about 21 now, and it's not high enough. I mean, we'll speak about that later in terms of transfers and stuff like that. But we do need some help. So back to the game again. Once Borough scored, we had somewhat of a mini revival for about 30 minutes or so. We looked good and took a fair bit of control of the game, and we're passing it around as good as I've seen us do for a while. And eventually that paid off when Lukas Jukovic managed to pull one back for us. Before that, we had a blast over the bar from Crom3maGik and a shot lashed wide by Roy O'Donovan, and also a header that was headed over by Lukas Jukovic as well. But on the 76th minute, the breakthrough came. Hussey crossed in from the byline on the left. Borough's keeper punched the ball away, and it landed to Roy O'Donovan, who then volleyed toward goal, which was then saved again by the keeper, which was a really good save actually, considering it had to get up so quick. And it was a good shot, yeah. But their keeper spilled it up in the air, and it was just left for Lukas Jukovic to head the ball home. I mean, the one thing I would say is we were fairly lucky with it, because it was a case of right place, right time for Jukovic. I mean, that goal kind of reminded me of the old Alan Shearer sort of goals, when he was always in the right place at the right time. Even if it was going to take something lucky for it to happen, he was still in the right place at the right time. And I mean, Jukovic isn't one of those players that is like that. Don't get me wrong, he's a really good player and puts every ounce of effort in, but I don't think he's a proven enough goal scorer at this point in time. I mean, what do you guys think?
He's a good player, but as you say, that he needs a strike partner. We saw that when we had Marlon King, because he played off him and he played his best football. He needs a striker that can play off him, and unfortunately Roy O'Donovan isn't that player. They're too similar. O'Donovan and Jukovic are they're too similar, and they play their own games. They don't play with each other or play off each other. It's just not working. But as I say, that's what we've got at the minute. So we're just gonna have to grin and bear it.
Yeah, it's just a case of digging in at the minute and getting the points while we can. Hopefully, as I say, the transfer window will bring us some good news. But I'll be honest, I'm expecting bad.
We've got Eastwood coming back. I suppose that's another option.
Yeah, but again though, is
Eastwood
another
type of player, isn't he? Like that. They're all too similar.
Yeah, he's not a proven goal scorer. Both, I reckon, Jukovic and Eastwood both are the sort of hold the ball up when it gets to pass it off, flick it on, ready for somebody like Marlon King, who last season would lash the ball home. With Marlon King this season, he's a goal scorer. He's a proven goal scorer, and he proved it just in the small amount of games he played for us last season. And I mean, it just shows you how much losing Marlon King has really damaged our club.
Definitely.
So Jay, what do you reckon about the goal?
The goal you deserved it, because you kept fighting even when your team were 1-0 down. Your team didn't throw in the towel. It didn't decide, oh no, it's going to be another one of these. You kept fighting, but once again, our goalkeeper and defence just didn't communicate and fell asleep on us. I mean, it was a spill by the keeper, and like you said, your player was in the right place at the right time, but I don't think you should have had a chance at that shot if our keeper had actually caught it.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree. So then Borough fought back and had a number of chances and hitting the bar in the last minute as well. I'm going to have to hurry it up because we are actually closer than I thought we were to the end of it.
Really?
So overall, I give credit to both teams. We both did well. We did well to hold out for the point, and it was well deserved if you ask me. Borough had plenty of chances and were the better team in my opinion, but just missed the chances that they did have. So moving on quickly, who do you think was your man of the match choices?
Man of the match for me, I mean, it's difficult when you've not been to the game. You can only rely on what you hear on the radio, but again, I'd probably have to go with Richard Keogh. He's been my man of the match for the last 2 or 3 games, because he's just been rock solid at the back.
Yeah.
And
Jay, what about for you with Middlesbrough?
I would have to still say Emnes, because he kept playing and he kept going, and when he got his chance he did take it, and he's still showing that he's got his scoring boot and he's not looking at stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, I would say for me, I would give it to Joe Barrett for you guys. He seemed to be on the ball at every opportunity that he could be. and I believe he was the one that set up the goal for Emnes as well. But for City, I would say it was actually Cyrus Christie. And the reason why is he's a young guy, he's learning his trade, and he's still getting down the wings, putting balls in left and right, and doing really well for us.
Doing so well considering their age.
I mean, he's 17, 18?
18, I think, Christie.
And he's doing really well. I mean, he's been a terrific right back for us, and he's been a well-deserved... he's deserved his place in the team while the likes of Jordan Clark and Ben Turner have been out. But I would actually go as far to say he could become a first-team striker, and maybe sooner rather than later. First-team right-back, sorry. Sooner rather than later. I would probably go as far to say I would rather have him in the team now instead of Jordan Clark.
They don't look out of place, do they, the kids?
They don't. No, they really don't. Cyrus Christie and Gail Bigger-Romana look really good together. They do. And they'll do a job for us. And if people might turn around and say, yeah, but he's not young enough. If your player's got the skill, age doesn't matter. If that's my opinion of it anyway.
On the flip side, though, we can't keep relying on them all season because they're going to burn out at some stage, aren't they?
I know, yeah, but on the other hand, they're only 18 years old,
true,
so have they got the energy to go for all season? I don't know. I suppose we'll have to wait and see in the coming weeks. Hopefully a lot of our injuries will come back. So, my opinion on Borough is they will get into the playoffs, providing they keep Marvin Emnes, who, Jay, you said to me earlier, had signed a 3-year contract.
Yep.
So I'm just going to say good luck with you, Jay. Hope that you get everything that you wish for and enjoy the Premiership while we're back stuck down here in maybe what could be League One.
Your team's got the drive at the end of the season.
Yeah. So I thought we'd go to a couple of off-the-pitch issues that we've come across in the past week. And I know people are going to say, do Sisu first, but I'm not. I'm going to say the Ben Turner, John Parkin issue. So apparently Ben Turner is going to go to Cardiff and we're going to replace him for John Parkin. What are your views on it, Rob?
Well, been a bit of an update on that. Apparently the whole John Parkin bit's not going to happen. It's just going to be Ben Turner is what I've heard. But either way, it's just asset stripping again, isn't it, from our esteemed owners. They seem to just be getting rid of anyone with any value.
Yeah,
it's going to be a big loss.
I mean, we've all heard. Go on, sorry.
It's just going to be a big loss. I mean, I know we've got our defence is all right at the minute, but when we had Turner in the team last season, and he was a rock at the back, and he was actually getting on the score sheet as well. It's just an all-round defender, and it'll be a big loss.
Yeah, well, with him, when we had him last season, up until he was taken out injured, we were actually still in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If I remember rightly, we were fourth at the point that Turner was getting injured.
Yeah, it was against Leeds, wasn't it?
And then it just went downhill. Yeah. So I mean, he's a big loss, but on the flip side, I would say if the John Parkin thing was going through, then at least we haven't maybe got the injury liability of Ben Turner there, if that makes sense. But I suppose I still think that Ben Turner is better than John Parkin. So I think we'd get the rough end of the deal, but it would still be something there. I mean, as you've just said now, Ben Turner's going on his own. So I'm not really sure how that's going to turn out, but I'm hoping that he doesn't go, and that if he does go, we at least get somebody of decent talent to replace him, because we really need as many people in the team as we can get. And when Ben Turner comes back, maybe we'll move somebody like Richard Keogh back to right back, have Ben Turner and Craney in the middle and Hussey on the right.
We've got Richard Wood and we've got James McPake as well in that position, the centre back position. It's a overpopulated position, but I think Turner's probably one of our best centre halves. So it's
yeah,
a case of,
I would say without doubt Turner's our best defender, if I'm honest, without a shadow of a doubt. But as you say, it's an overpopulated area, and it's something that we don't really need to worry about that much. If he does go, maybe it'll release some cash to get a striker.
Well,
Jay,
yeah.
why am I echoing? Did you know? Ah, there you go. You sorted it. Lafondra. Let's go on to that. So, for you guys that know, we put in a £350,000 bid to buy Adam Lafondra from Rotherham. I certainly thought it was going to go through, but obviously now that he's signed for Reading, that's not going to happen. Or he's having a medical at Reading, apparently, something
he's
like
signed
that.
for him, yeah.
So he has signed for him. So I think that's a massive loss. What do you reckon, Rob?
Well, I could go into the whole Sisu thing, but I look at it from the point of view of the player. He's got a choice of coming to Coventry or Reading. Now, he's not going to have not heard about what the problems are at Coventry. He's going to see we're near the bottom of the table, and I think that's going to have a decision. He's going to choose between a team that's struggling or a team that isn't struggling. He's going to go to a team that's not struggling, I reckon, anyway. I think that was his main decision.
The only way that I think he should have came to us is if he actually knew that he was going to get a first team place, because here he's basically guaranteed to get a first team spot. I don't know whether he is as much at Reading.
No, well, I still think that we'd probably, because we'd be relying on him, wouldn't we? Because we're a team at the minute that can't score a goal, and bringing in a lower league player, we'd be expecting him to get a hat-trick every week, and it wouldn't happen. And
yeah,
you know, I think
I get what you mean, because it puts the pressure on him of the fact that he has to score the goals, even though the rest of their team is doing well. But we can't score a goal for Toffee, apart from obviously the two that we've scored in the 5 games, 2 or 3 that scored in the 5 games, and they've both been lucky goals. So yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got Sammy Klingen who can hit from outside the box, but he's playing a defensive midfield place. We've got Gary McSheffrey, who he's
off the ball this season. He's injured at the minute, yeah. But when at Birmingham, he was off the pace, and against Leicester, I think he was off the pace. I don't know what's made him like that. I don't know, but whether it was a niggling injury or whether he's just heart's not in it anymore. But I just think I don't know. He wasn't a player. He's not the player he used to be, certainly. But I don't think he's playing to his full potential. Don't know why that is.
Yeah,
but
I definitely agree with that. But yeah, so in terms of transfers, do you reckon we'll get anyone in, or do you reckon people will go out?
Honestly, I don't think we'll get anyone in, and I reckon we'll see 1 or 2 go.
I've just got this funny feeling that Turner's going to go, and I've just got this really dire feeling that Jukovic is going to go as well.
It would not surprise me at all, to be honest.
If it did happen, we'd be in trouble. We'd be in massive trouble if it happened.
Well, we're in massive trouble anyway.
I'm hoping. Yeah, we are. But we'll see, I guess. You'll find out what's happened next week on the show, and we'll see. We'll talk about who's gone, who's come in, what the state of the club is now, and we'll see what happens.
That'll be a nice depressing programme.
In terms of the Gary Hoffman bid, and it being withdrawn, I did say to you while we were at the barbecue last week, I've just got this funny feeling that something dodgy could happen, and it kind of proved my point right when I think it was Paul said that the only reason why you're backing it is because Joe Elliott and Gary Hoffman are the leaders of the bid, and I was just like, well, there could be something dodgy going on. I'm just not certain, but I suppose. Go on.
Yeah, it's a case of who do you believe at the minute, because so many conflicting things. This is before all what happened the other day. I mean, the statement on the CCFC website the other week saying, oh, there was no one at the meeting, and then Joe Elliott and Hoffman coming out, and it's just a case of just tell us the truth. We just want to know.
Yeah. I mean, one of the ploys from Leonard Brody. Is it Leonard Brody?
Yeah. Are you on about the Canadian bloke on Twitter?
Yeah. the guy on Twitter that said that he was going to be truthfully honest with us, and all we've heard ever since he said that was absolute bullshit. Excuse my French, but it has been absolute bullshit.
I agree.
And
disappeared off the face of the
don't
earth.
know. Well, apparently his Twitter's being closed, or he can't get on Twitter because he's getting something like 1,000 Twitter updates a day.
It's a good excuse.
I mean, at the end of the day, as people on Sky Blue forum called Sky Blues Talk have said, he's got an account on there, so why not go through him on that site, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it just seems like a lot of bullshit. So, as for Gary Hoffman, I hope you can find a new bidder or whatever, something can be sorted. But I will say that anything involved with Gary Hoffman and Joe Elliott, I will be more wary about, so to speak. And it goes for anyone that's trying to take over the club. I'll be wary about the offers and just not believe it until it's all gone through in writing, because it's getting the fans' spirits up for them. For us to hit rock bottom again, and it's just not a very good feeling, if you know what I mean.
I mean, it seems like they're almost as bad as each other. I mean, Ken Doolio and Hoffman, I mean, it's like kids on a playground when they're saying, oh yeah, this, he said this and he said that, and it's like Doolio when he name dropped Ken Bruce on the radio to break that confidentiality rule. I mean, it's just childish, and it's just like we've got a club and we need it sorting. We want to keep this club going, and some random chairman who just came in from, was it Southampton? He came from Doolio. He was at Southampton before,
yeah,
wasn't he?
When he took them into administration.
Yeah, I mean,
it says it all.
That's where I think we're heading for, in honesty, because I can't see it being resolved anytime soon. And it can't carry on as it's going. It just can't. It's going to come to a head, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's something's going to happen where the club has to do something about it, whether it's the chairman themselves, because I don't believe that the chairman are actually CSU representatives, so it should be them looking for the investment. And Joe Elliott was the life president. He was looking for the investment, and then he got sacked for looking for investment. Well, that's their bloody job. If you ask me, that's their job.
I think the problem with CSU really is the fact that they're so mysterious. I mean, they haven't got a website. They haven't got anyone that you could sort of contact to talk to about. I mean, there was people bombarding their phone lines last week, but I don't see how that's going to help anything. But yeah, they just...
Did you hear about the there was like a bus, 3 people that actually went to CSU's head offices in London, and did the protest there, and they got Leonard Brodie on the phone. I was like, hang on, when I was told that Leonard Brodie came on the phone, and it was the same thing for the Watford game after the game when they bombarded the cafe sort of area. And Brodie came on the phone as well. Well, Brodie isn't a representative of CSU. It should be Onyé Igwe that's making the phone calls, or is it Onyé Igwe?
He's the CSU representative on the board, but he seems to have disappeared as well. So I found
he should be the one making the phone calls.
I found it funny that they apparently spoke to Leonard Brodie, because, as you say, he's nothing to do with CSU. He's just a minority shareholder in the club. So it's all very... Yeah. I don't know, it's just a long-drawn saga, but it always is with Cov, isn't it? I mean, Marlon King's saga, the bloody Lafondra saga, it could go on, I really could.
Everything just seems to be bad news for us. I mean, it was administration last season, and being what was potentially half an hour away from going into administration, when CSU plumped up the cash to stop us doing so. And they're saying that they'll fund the club for the rest of the season. What does that mean? Does it mean they'll stop us from going into administration but not give us anything else?
It means
does it mean
keep the club running keeps the club running until the end of the season, but it doesn't mean.
But does that mean keep us out of administration?
Well, I don't know, but they've always said Dooley and the other one, Paul Cloughton. They've always said we're not going into administration. But then again, what do you believe? Who do you believe? I mean, they could just pull the plug, or
I'll put a bet on with, if you want to, I'll put a bet on with you now for our £1 bets up until for the game after New Year, that I reckon will be in administration by the start of New Year. Just because I reckon that we will be. I've just got this funny feeling.
The only problem with that is I agree with you. We probably will be.
Well, okay, so the bet, there's no point in having a bet.
Yeah,
then.
exactly. I agree, because, as I say, it's gonna come to a head. It's gonna have to come to a head. I can't see it going any other way, really, unless Hoffman comes back with a credible offer, or because the protests. I mean, the Watford game, and there's some planned, I think, for the Derby game because it's on the telly. I mean, I could understand.
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to talk about now. Go on, but carry on what you were saying.
I could understand the ones at the Watford game because people wanted Hoffman in rather more so than Sisu out. But I mean, carrying it on now when there's no other offer in, if Sisu were to go now, there wouldn't be a club. It would be liquidated.
Exactly.
So,
that's what I was actually going to just about to say now. It was the next project, the next topic, and the final topic actually that we were going to speak about. And I agree with you. I understand the protests, so to speak, during the Watford game. I don't agree with them going on during the game taking place, because it's bad towards the club, towards the players, and just gives off a bad vibe. But at the same time, I understand why after the game that group of 20 odd people, or however many it was, went into the cafe and started the protest there for the half hour before Brodie rang. And I agree with that, with the fact of trying to get Hoffman in. But as you've just said now, there's no point in doing it in the Derby game, because at the end of the day, all it's going to do is piss Sisu off even more. And everyone says I'd rather go into administration than be owned by Sisu, but to go into administration, we would still be owned by Sisu. If Sisu just pulled out and said, right, we're not paying any more funding at all, the club can just rot in hell, there'd be no more club left.
It would be liquidated, yeah. So I can understand the frustration. I mean, people are frustrated with Sisu. I mean, I am as well. But if they were to go now,
I think every Cov fan in the world is frustrated by Sisu.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Sisu are the best club, the best people in the world, and I do want them out. But there's nobody else to take over the club at the minute.
Exactly. At the minute, there's no alternative. So we've got to just stick with it and hope that either Hoffman comes back with a credible offer that doesn't break any bloody rules or whatever, or doesn't annoy his investors or anything like that. Or, as I say, we've just got to stick with them.
Yeah. So, shall we leave it on that note then?
And do.
Okay, so I'm guessing that we're going to have to play another game in the background for the video, just because we have been going on for what is probably about 30 minutes now. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Please check back with us next week for the next show. If you like the show, then please rate, comment and subscribe to my channel if you're a gamer as well. And just try and get the show out there, because from what I've seen, there are hardly any, if any, shows that do a weekly show based just around Coventry City. And programs like the Football League show just don't show the true things behind what I see as Coventry City. I mean, they just play 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and for me it's not enough. I'd rather have like a Sky Blues interactive with a BBC, or just a show like we're doing now that puts across our own opinions. That reminds me, if any of you guys want to leave a comment on the video or disagree with anything or agree with anything that we have said, then please leave a comment in the description in the comment section below, and we'll read off a couple of the comments next week on next week's show. But I will bear in mind, keep them constructive and don't just sort of like hate just because of something that we've said that you don't agree with. Explain why, and then we'll put it on the next week's show. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for listening for the time that you have. Do you guys want to say goodbye or anything?
Yeah, I was just saying thanks for listening. Remember, it's international break next week, so there's no actual Cov game, but there'll be plenty to talk about. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, I think we should still do it, because there'll
definitely
be the transfer window to talk about and whatnot, and in the life of Cov, something always comes up every day.
There's always
so
a new twist in the soap opera, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So Jay, are you still there, and do you want to say goodbye as well?
So, thank you for allowing me to come on and comment about the Middlesbrough game and have some insight into the Coventry Football Club, and I wish the best for them.
Okay, alright, thanks a lot for coming on, Jay. Been much appreciated, and cheers, guys, and take care of yourselves.
Keep the faith.